started, all right? All right, guys. Thank y'all so much for coming. We're gonna do a seafood risotto with a pan-seared mountain trout or rainbow trout today. We're going to use some arborio rice, which is basically Italian grain rice, which is just a larger granule, so it holds more starch. So for this recipe, it'll help make the risotto, which the starch will kind of make it creamy. And risotto is not a type of rice. Risotto is actually the method of cooking that rice. And you usually use an arborio rice to do that, okay? So we're going to start with some extra virgin olive oil. Just get it nice and warm, about 2 tablespoons. You guys enjoy those hors d'oeuvres today? All right. Awesome. All right, so the arborio rice, like I said, it's Italian grain rice. We want to actually start with the onions. We're going to caramelize those onions. And like I've said the last 2 times, guys, this is the most important part of this dish, is creating the foundation of this risotto, okay? And to do that, we're going to brown those onions. We don't want to just sweat them. We want to caramelize them because the risotto is a pretty rich dish. And we want those onions to shine through that dish. Every ingredient we're going to use, we want it to shine through that dish. So if we were just to make the onions translucent, they wouldn't be as sweet and as smoky as if we actually went all the way and caramelized them. So we just want to get them nice and brown. I'm going to go through my ingredients with you guys, okay? Can y'all see the ingredients? All right. So, like I was talking about before, the arborio rice, some white wine, preferably like a dry Chablis, even a Chardonnay is good. Some just fresh curly parsley, flat leaves, okay also. Some grated Parmesan, some 40-50 shrimp, and some Louisiana crawfish tails. A little minced garlic, heavy cream for the end, and then our house-made Creole seasoning, which I gave you guys the recipe like I said I would. And it's a pretty big recipe, so you just put it in your pantry and use it for anything you want, actually, meat, seafood, whatever. Promise the balsamic production recipe too, but I changed my mind because everybody's gonna ruin their pans. I'm telling you, unless I'm there over your shoulder watching and telling you, hey, stop now, you're gonna ruin your pans, or just ruin about $18 worth of balsamic vinegar, which I don't want you to do. So, my suggestion is buy it. You know, it's pretty close to what you would get if you make it yourself. If you bought just a little squeeze bottle of balsamic production. But I'm telling you, it's really hard to do. Really the timing of it, there's no one to stop. All right, so the onions, this is just a yellow onion. You can use Spanish onion, red onion if you want, whatever you want. Also, this risotto, it can be served on its own. It can be served with steak. It can be served with seafood, anything really. We can add sun-dried tomatoes to it. We can add some baby spinach to it. We can add some roasted tomato marinara to it. Really, you can go so many different ways with this. So that's what I want to try to do for you guys, is show you guys how to make a risotto, and then y'all can go from there at your house, okay? So we have the onions caramelized. Now, we can finish browning them with the risotto because you want to toast that rice. So that's 2 cups of the arborio rice. So the method of cooking risotto is very important that you start by shocking the rice. Okay, like if you fry shrimp and it's really, really ice cold, you put it into a really hot fryer, you're shocking it and all the flavor is staying inside the shrimp. Well, the risotto, we're doing that with the starch in the rice. Okay, so if we were to just put water, like when we cook rice, you have like, you know, the mush, when you have that mushy rice at your house. Well, we're shocking those granules of rice, so we're going to slowly steep out the starch to make a nice creamy risotto. So we're just going to toast the rice. Guys, at any time, if y'all have any questions, just raise your hand. And you can't get a Boreal rice at Publix. I know that for a fact. We've run out of the restaurant and had to get some before. The way we use our risotto here is we do risotto cakes, and we do the same method. We just put a lot of tomato paste, we dice the shrimp, and we finish with about, I don't know, 4 times the amount of Parmesan, a whole bunch of Parmesan. We spread it out on a sheet pan, and then we cake it up and we fry it. Just put a little bit of corn flour and we fry it for our chicken Victoria, which is actually named after my daughter. Speaking of family, I want to introduce my mom and dad, Billy and Lisa Toops over here. They actually really deserve a round of applause because they are very influential in my life, so I'm glad they're here. All right, guys, so we're getting a little bit of toastiness on that rice. You got to be careful not to burn it. That's the thing about risotto, guys. If you make risotto once a week, you see these guns? You're gonna have them. You're gonna have them. I'm telling you, it's a very technical thing, and it's also strenuous. But like I said, you get to get guns when you do it. So, all right. So we're gonna add the white wine now. I think it's toasted enough. Okay. So a cup of white wine. At the same time, we're gonna add the minced garlic. The reason why I didn't add the garlic before this is because you saw how that pan was. The last thing you want to do is burn your garlic and make a bitter risotto, okay? You can also, we actually use roasted garlic in our risotto, give it more of a sweetness. All right, so you're gonna see this happen time and time again when I'm cooking the risotto. I'm gonna put liquid into it, it's gonna suck it up, I'm gonna put more liquid into it, and it's gonna suck it up. That's the procedure to get that creaminess out of the rice. You know, we're gonna use the natural starch of the rice to make a creamy product, okay? Another very important thing is using hot liquid, okay, hot stock. And you know, this is actually the chicken stock we use in house. We roast the whole chickens for our gumbos and we make stock out of the bones. But what you can use at your house, you can even use the bouillon, you know, the bouillon cubes. Just put a little bit of that in some hot water, but make sure it's hot water because that's the method you cook your risotto. If it's cold, you know, you bring the temperature of the rice down, and it has to come back up. You bring it down, it has to come back up. So you want the stock to be hot. Yes, ma'am.
When you put the rice in, does it stop the onion cooking?
No, actually, they will continue to cook. And you heard the when I put the wine in there, it was still really hot. And yeah, they'll still continue to cook.
So they still get sweet.
What's that?
They still get sweet.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, so with white wine dissipated, start adding our chicken stock. I like to use, this is a seafood risotto, but I like to use more of a chicken stock so it's just not overly powering, over rich, you know what I mean? So it kind of balances out, when you have more to it than just seafood. Just take my word for it, it's just one of those palate things, sorry. Go ahead and say it. All right, so we're just gonna reduce that down, keep on cooking it. Another way we use risotto at the restaurant is we'll blanch the risotto like we would pasta. When you take raw risotto and you boil some water, put the risotto in there, and cook it till al dente, not all the way. And then you set it aside in the refrigerator, chill it. Then to order, you can put a little heavy cream in the pan, and then put some of that risotto in there. Seafood, whatever you want, finish with Parmesan, and that's more like a really rich, creamy risotto. We'll do that a lot of times for scallops and things like that. We're gonna cream this at the end, so it's not just, sock it to your stomach, okay, let me unbutton my pants now because I'm about to die rich, you know what I'm saying? It'll be close to that, but just not quite that. We want everybody to keep their pants on today. All right, so we reduce this some more. Like I said, guys, this is the theme of this dish here. And we're going to be serving it with a crispy mountain trout. So when you keep the skin on, it's actually from North Carolina. It's a rainbow trout, river trout. We're just going to sear it skin side down for a long period of time and get the skin really crispy. And then flip it over. It just takes a couple minutes on the other side. We're gonna put it on top of the seafood risotto. A little balsamic production. Our WD-40 sauce that I will not share the recipe with. I'm so sorry, but I can tell you what the recipe is. In fact, if you want to get a pen and paper, I can give you a recipe right now. And if you want to ruin your pots, that's your own thing, okay? The balsamic reduction reduces a whole bunch. So you want to start with probably about 2 cups of balsamic vinegar. You want something that's relatively good. It doesn't have to be, you know, the aged balsamic that's $35 for 6 ounces or anything like that. But you want something that's relatively good that has some weight to it. So 2 cups of that balsamic vinegar, you probably want to put about a ½ cup of brown sugar to it. You can put some bay leaves in there, and then just take some shallots and just like 2 shallots and put them in there also. And you reduce that until it really coats. In fact, you know how I do it? I stick my finger in. That's the only way. Because even if you coat the back of the spoon, that balsamic vinegar, when it chills, it like becomes cement. So you have to do it perfect. If it goes over, you can't use it. If it goes under, you have, you know, still balsamic vinegar. It's just exact time. But the way I do it is, you know, just coat the back of the spoon, and you want it to stay on there pretty good. And then you chill it and serve it. That's it, guys. That's our WD-40 sauce. So that was 2 cups of balsamic vinegar, a ½ cup of brown sugar, a couple bay leaves, 1 or 2 shallots to reduce that down. And it's probably a little more than half in terms of reduction. All right, so we add some more chicken stock. Any questions, guys? Yes, ma'am.
How long will that last in the refrigerator?
Balsamic vinegar? Forever. Yeah. In fact, even at room temperature, forever. It'll be good to go. We don't refrigerate ours because, like I said, it gets tough, and you have to wait about 4 hours for it to use it. And it's really hard. So it'll last a long time. And guys, you can also research gas streaks, because that's another name for that balsamic reduction, is a gas streak. You can research gas streaks online. There's probably a whole bunch of different recipes for it online too.
How high temperature do you use it?
You want a pretty high temperature. But I mean, it could be on a low temperature, it'll just take twice the time, you know what I mean? So if you have an opportunity to kind of watch it, keep your eye on it, because it can boil over a little bit too. But if you have an opportunity to keep your eye on it, I'd put it on medium high, definitely. And guys, with the risotto, it's kind of the same thing in terms of when your rice is ready for the next step. And it's really just a tasting thing. You want to taste the rice, and whenever it's al dente and getting close to being cooked, you want to taste it, and then you want to add your seafood. You want to make sure that seafood gets cooked all the way, but we don't want to overcook the rice. So, in a little bit longer, we'll go ahead and put that seafood in there. But like I was saying, the best thing to do is just to taste the rice. Questions? Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
For about how long do you let your fish cook skin side down?
How about I show you when we do it, and then we can talk about it then. You just want it to get really crispy. It depends on your heat, obviously. I'm going to use a Teflon pan, but that rainbow trout, you can definitely use a stainless steel pan. You don't have to. The Teflon is just foolproof, you know what I mean? As long as that pan is hot, and you put that skin side down, it won't stick. But if you put it in cold, that's going to rip right off when you try to flip it. So that pan has to be hot. And I always talk about this. And you know, when you're sautéing or searing things, you know, sauté is the same word as sauté in ballet. My mom's a ballet teacher, so that's it. But sauté in ballet, and sauté means jump. So you want that pan so hot that you're having to jump your food, because if you don't, it's going to burn. So sauté is the same thing as sauté in dancing. But yes.
Do you not recommend a Teflon pan for risotto?
No, probably not. I mean, you can. I mean, if you have one of the, like a Calphalon pot or something, it's fine. You know, obviously don't use a stainless steel. I mean, a metal spoon. Use a wooden spoon. But no, that'd be fine. All right, guys. So we talked about sun-dried tomatoes. You know, this would be a good time to put a little bit of chiffonade basil or sun-dried tomatoes in there. Let's see, what else could we do in here? I mean, fresh thyme. I mean, there's so many different ways. How about, let's do a jambalaya risotto. Okay, let's get some andouille sausage that we grilled off ahead of time without poking holes into it. Let it chill. Once it's chilled, slice it. If you slice too early, once you slice, all the juices and run out. So grill some andouille sausage. Let it sit so that juice settles. Slice it, put it in the risotto right now. A little grilled chicken, a little tomato paste. You can have a nice little jambalaya risotto. Some saffron, the same thing. We have a nice paella. In fact, that's another way we use this risotto in-house. We make paella, more of a Louisiana-style paella. All right, so we're getting close, guys. A little bit more chicken stock. And I have a 1 1/4 quarts of chicken stock on that recipe. You can probably go a little more, a little less. It just depends on how creamy you want it. And also, you know, if we make the risotto, we put it aside, we sear our fish, it's going to continue to soak that liquid up. So if you want it to be a little bit more wet and juicy, then add a little bit more stock to it, or more creamy, either one. All right, I'm going to taste the risotto. All right, so we still got a little bit to go. Kind of got it easy with this burner up here, back there. It can stick pretty much every minute, not stirring it, but this one's a little bit more fancy. Did everybody know what all the hors d'oeuvres were that we tasted? We had crab cakes, obviously, the caprese, bruschetta, and which was just buffalo mozzarella, heirloom tomato, balsam production, basil chiffonade on the crostini. We had the grits. They were just grits, leftover cheddar cheese grits that we caked with bacon. We put the bacon fat in there, some chive, some cayenne to make it a little bit spicy. And then we had the cheeseburger croquettes. That was actually a new one, but which was actually, we had a party last night, and my guys cooked too many cheeseburgers. So I chopped the cheeseburgers up, put them in some mashed potatoes with some fresh jalapeno and some cheddar cheese, made some croquettes. So that's what those were. Yeah, it was good actually. And we had we had the bruschetta with the baked brie and the fig preserve also, so which is one of my favorites. All right. I'm going to put it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add my seafood now. I put a good bit of stock in there, so it has some water to let that seafood cook into. If it was just more of a dry risotto in there, it would just, we want to make sure that shrimp, definitely the shrimp, the crawfish is already cooked, but make sure that shrimp cooks evenly in there. So we're going to go ahead and put our seafood in there, and our cream and our Parmesan. I'm going to put the shrimp in there first. Give it time to cook. I don't want to overcrowd the pan. So now, guys, we just have a whole bunch of seafood flavor in our risotto, right? All right. I like parsley. We did a half bunch of parsley. Just give it some freshness. All right, so a half bunch of parsley. Just give it some freshness. We have all these overbearing flavors: crawfish, Parmesan, shrimp. Parsley just kind of lighten it up, you know, neutralize some of those big flavors. All right, heavy cream. We talked about the 36 compared to the 40%, 36% compared to the 40% milk fat heavy cream. This is a 40%, which is what we use. It just has more of the good stuff, the fat, so it has more flavor. All right, so everybody can see what we're doing. All right, so now we have to cook that rest of the stock and cream into it. Another use for risotto is that we would just take some heavy cream, put some shrimp shells in the heavy cream, a little bit of aromatics like onions and garlic, and bring that to a temperature. We put that risotto in there, and then let it cook for a while. When the risotto is cooked, we would puree it with a hand blender, and that's actually a traditional bisque. a traditional biscuit is thickened with risotto, or bread, or regular rice. But the starch, the risotto starch is a lot better than normal rice because it just has so much of it. And starch, obviously cornstarch, is in that natural thickener. So, all right, the shrimp are about there. Put my crawfish in. This burner is struggling, to say the least. To me right now, this is just screaming for some like freshly chopped jalapenos, some baby spinach. Yeah, some baby spinach. You know, there's so many different things. I wanted to keep it basic for you guys and just show you off how to make risotto, and then you guys can go from there and do different things with it. All right, so you see it still has a nice bit of liquid in it. We wanted to stay that way because again, we're gonna put Parmesan, which Parmesan will kind of bring that together a little bit. And then also, it's going to sit for a bit when we pan sear our fish, so we want it to stay nice and juicy. I don't care who you are, but that looks pretty good. What about you? Think so? Smells good. All right, last but not least, Parmesan. That's just there to kind of get a little bit more oomph. I always say, the Creole seasoning to taste, that's up to you. And another thing about the Creole seasoning recipe is, if you want it more spicy, you can add some more cayenne. If you want a little bit more garlic, you can add a little bit more of the granulated garlic. That's a really good base, and we do use that everywhere in the kitchen. On our fillets, our ribeyes, our fish, pretty much everything. So that's seafood risotto, guys. All right, so now we're going to sear some fish. I almost wanted to do the stainless steel pan just to show you guys that it can be done. Would y'all like me to do stainless steel pan? So that one, does it matter? Okay. Thank you. All right, so most important, guys, you want to get that pan hot. Yes.
Use cast iron instead.
That would definitely work also.
Will it stick? Do you have to have oil in it?
Yeah, I would definitely, unless you're blackening it, if you're blackening it, you won't want as much oil. I like to use some fat, just, it helps with the process of cooking. If you have a dry pan, it won't cook as quick. And then if you have a pan with oil in it or fat, whatever kind of fat you're using.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you make a sweet risotto?
Yeah, definitely. Kind of the same thing as like a rice pudding, just like, banana pudding, a rice pudding, a little vanilla, some freshly grated cinnamon and nutmeg. That'd be really good. Yeah, you definitely could.
Gabe, one more question. Would you buy your shrimp already shelled in the vein?
Those 40/50s always come that way. They're pud, peeled in the vein, because they're so small to peel. You can use bigger shrimp if you want. You can do that without the seafood and put some grilled shrimp on top, and add spinach and sun-dried tomatoes. But those come peeled in the vein. Yeah, but you can use bigger shrimp, which you might have to peel if you get the bigger shrimp. I tend to believe and think that those smaller shrimp just have a lot more flavor. Especially for things like this, the big shrimp will just be there for the crunch and the look, and when you get a bite, but that baby shrimp will really infuse the flavor into it. All right, I'll make sure this doesn't splash on anybody. All right, so again, this is rainbow trout. It doesn't have to be just rainbow trout. It can be anything. It can be sea bass, salmon, like I said, filet mignon. In fact, a little bit of blackened our au plat filet mignon, like medium rare, just kind of shave it, slice it real thin, put it on top of the risotto. That would be pretty good, I think.
Consider olive oil and standard soy sauce always.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. You do want to make sure that the pan is dry, especially when you're going to do something like this, because oil and water do not mix, obviously. When I was a cook a long, long time ago in New Orleans, I was working for a restaurant called the Steak Knife in Lakeview. It was like this mafia hangout. I'm not even joking. It was crazy. I was cleaning out one of the fryers, and I put the dirty oil into a pot, with the spout using the fryer. And then I dumped my soapy water into the fryer and forgot that the grease was still down there with the spout open. And the whole kitchen floor was covered in grease and water mix because, it went everywhere. So, yeah, it's pretty volatile. In fact, for fun, we throw ice cubes in the fryer on a busy Saturday night when they're trying to fry stuff. It's pretty funny. It just does a nice little pop. Same thing with soft shell crabs. They all have water pockets inside the meaty part. And you gotta squeeze them out and take them out because once that oil reaches that, just boom, it doesn't feel good. All right, so with Teflon, the good thing about Teflon is you can flip it over and see what you're looking like. And if you're not happy with it, you can turn it back. If it's not where you want it to be. So we just need to cook on this side a little bit. It doesn't have to be cooked all the way. It can be, medium to medium well. It's well done. It's a pretty fatty too. It's got some nice oil to it. So if it is all the way cooked, it'll still be nice and juicy. All right. I like to serve it skin side up, so we're not hiding anything from the customer. It's like, yeah, you eat the skin. That's right, eat the damn skin. So we serve the skin side up, so you really not have a choice. All right. So let's see. See how it's nice and creamy? We just had to add a cup of cream to this whole thing. So we're getting that texture and richness from the cream without having to get all the fat that usually comes with cooking the whole thing with cream. Looks pretty good, right? Shrimp is cooked perfect. We don't want to kill our shrimp. More fresh parsley. Very nice. And Seared mountain trout with seafood. I bet you guys would like to taste it, right? Yeah. Okay. So I'll go to the back and cook or something. Okay. Can y'all wait a little bit? Yeah. Awesome. All right, guys, how was it? Pretty good. I'll still gotta pay, you know that, right? Okay. Guys, thank y'all so much for coming. And as always, at Gabe Downtown, fat equals flavor.